Hello, and a very warm welcome to this week's podcast. Now, this week I am talking to you about the trap that referrals can land you in. If you are somebody who has their whole business based on word of mouth, then you are sitting firmly inside that referral trap. And this can be really limiting for your business because if your referrals disappeared tomorrow, would you still have a business? Would your business survive? Word of mouth is absolutely fantastic. I mean, there's nothing stronger than my friend saying to me, my friend who I know, I trust, I like, I really value their opinion, saying, oh, you want to go and get Susie to come and see Genghis, your cat. Oh, you want to get Francesca to come and see Taz the horse. I mean, absolutely amazing. But that is not how you're going to build a predictable business. That is not how you're going to build a repeatable, predictable, consistent income. And you know what? Word of mouth is too inconsistent to pay your bills and help you grow your business. So let's look at what else you could put in place. So when you start out in business, most equine and canine practitioners build through referrals. One, it seems easy. Two, as I said, it is a really, really strong way to get a client. Like if somebody comes to you because their best friend has just had an amazing session for their horse, their dog, their cat, whatever other animal, that person who then picks up the phone or reaches out to you, they're a motivated buyer. They are a hot lead, and they are highly likely to not only book one session, but then also become a great client because we hang around with people. We are friends with people just like us. So if you've got an amazing client who's recommended your services to her friend, chances are, or his friend, chances are that second person, that new client, is also going to be pretty much like your great client. They're going to be good to work with. They're going to do the work. They're going to be on time. They're going to pay all the rest of the things that make a good client a good client. And that's why you get stuck in this trap. It feels easy. You get really good quality clients coming through. However, what can happen, and I hear this all the time, is, oh my gosh, I had such a busy week, month. Oh, it's been really, really quiet actually recently. You end up in this feast or famine kind of cycle, and it's really hard to control when somebody is going to recommend you. And now there's things that you can put in place to help somebody to make a recommendation to you. But if you are just sitting there waiting, fingers crossed, all your clients refer you and refer their friends to you and refer you to their friends, you are not building a business. You are just standing still. You really are. So it's so important that, yes, referrals can be a really strong part of client attraction, but they can't be the only thing you have in place because you are really going to struggle to grow your business, or you're really going to struggle to have consistent income. And you'll have heard this expression before, but it's true. Cash is king. You need money coming into your business every week, every month, and you need money that stays in your business. And it may not be literal cash these days, but let's think of it as cash. If imagine everybody did pay you in cash and you paid every single bill, outgoing, all your insurance, fuel, everything else. Imagine everything was paid in cash. What would you have left in your hand? Let's think about that cash, because that's really what matters. And if you're having super busy months and then super quiet months, it can get a bit stretched, it can get a bit lean, and it can get pretty uncomfortable. And that's why it is so important to have your own client attraction formula in place. And referrals definitely are part of that. But there's ways to strengthen those referrals, and there's ways to be proactively marketing your services without just waiting. Fingers crossed. I hope those lovely clients today tell all their friends. So if you think then about how could you market your services as an equine or a canine practitioner? There may be things that you are doing that maybe aren't having quite the amount of what's the word I'm looking for, effectiveness. There may be things that you have tried before and never really mastered. And this is why I love to teach and support people with really quite a simple client attraction model. Like, it doesn't need to be difficult. The client attraction model that we teach inside the Expert Academy and that I share when I teach people on client attraction is social media, veterinary referrals, strategic partnerships, and expert positioning. And within that strategic partnerships, that is all about collaboration and working with others who have your audience. That's where word of mouth referrals sit. So if you haven't got all of those four pillars covered, your business is a little bit rocky. It really, really is, because what you need is a predictable, a known way that you can welcome clients in. Imagine like literally like a physical dial. Like, you can be like, oh, the diary's looking a little quiet for next month. Turn it up. Or you can be like, oh, do you know what? We've only got 3 appointments left this month. You can just turn it down, set it somewhere in the middle, a little bit like a volume button. And now I love supporting people to create their own version of this formula that works for them. Because you know what? You're all different. Everybody is different. Everyone has a different energy. Everyone has a different skill set. Even if you might have the same piece of paper, the same letters after your name as somebody else, what you actually bring to the market, what you are bringing to the table, so to speak, is totally different. And that's why your client attraction formula, it's going to cover these 4 pillars, but how you use those pillars is so personalized. And it really comes down to working on, or focusing on, I probably is a better word to say, what lights you up, what you enjoy, what you find fun, and testing what delivers. So let's take those 4 pillars for a second. Social media, so great for visibility, building authority, connection, know, like, and trust. People get to see you in action, the day to day. You might be sharing little snippets of your personal life, and by that I do not mean everything about your life, but it could just simply be something like, I love a tea in the morning. Are you a tea or a coffee person? Little things like that. You make people resonate with you. You could be talking about your own animals. You can talk about why you became a practitioner. All that stuff, particularly when you're sharing clients' successes and client wins and client stories, all that is very, very powerful. Now, with social media, a lot of people say to me, oh, I never know what to say, or I will never get any clients from that. The thing is, social media is a very different ballgame to what it used to be a few years ago. Social media is full of people that are watching, but they don't comment, they don't like, they don't say anything. You'd never know that they are there. And when you pair word of mouth with social media, which is actually what happens these days, you get a much stronger, but kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Conversion, I suppose, from word of mouth. Because here's the thing to know about this referral trap. If you're just sitting there hoping that your lovely client refers you to some of her friends, a few years ago, if I'd asked my lovely friend Sue, oh, what do you think? Who should we get out? She would have sent me your phone number, and I would have called you or texted you. We'd got it in the diary. Now, she's much more likely to send me a link to your Instagram, to your website. And I'm going to have a little online stalk. And I don't mean that to scare you, but that's generally what we do. I would always check out, if I was going to invest in any kind of service, and possibly to some extent a physical store, if I was going to a store as well and I had never been there, didn't know anything about it, I would look them up online. I'd want to see what it's like. So if you don't have, when I say a strong social media presence, don't misunderstand me by that. I don't mean that social media should be taking over your life and you should be, posting 3 times a day. I simply mean up to date. I simply mean on brand, on message. I simply mean that your social media reflects who you are. And if I bounced onto it, you might be on your social, you might produce content once a week. You might produce content 5 times a week. But if I get, my friend Sue says, oh, you want to have so and so thing, and I'm on your socials, it's like it's current. I can see what you're up to. I get to know you a little bit more. It's another little tick in the box, and that then probably that extra springboard where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to book now. Whereas if I go onto your socials, or you don't have any social media, which some people don't, I'd find that really odd. If I go onto your socials and the last thing you posted was, I don't know, 3 months ago, last Christmas or something, I'm going to think, oh, she's moved away, they've gone out of business, or they're not taking on any new clients. I, there's a very strong chance I would not do anything further. And I'd probably go back to the drawing board, so to speak, even though my friend had referred me. So social media has so many plus points. And I think if you are somebody that's like, oh, is it working? Is it not working? Think about how you pair it with these other pillars. Now, as I said, for some people, social media is where all their clients come from. And it's really easy, it's really repeatable, it's really predictable. Great. For some people, it's just a matter of having a presence. Yeah. And this is where you want to personalize these pillars. So that's social media. Then think about strategic partnerships. And this is where getting your clients to actually refer their friends to you and you to their friends is really powerful, but not in this fingers crossed, I won't say anything, let's just hope they do. Actually being proactive about it. I can remember when many years ago, I wanted some more clients when I was an equestrian coach and I wanted some more clients in the new area. I had 2 really great clients. And I remember saying, right, where, Becky, can I find more of you? I want 3 people just like you. And that's when she said something like, one of those clients said something like, actually, yes, I should have thought. Yeah, my friend so would be perfect for you. You have to you have to ask sometimes. You have to actually be proactive and not just sit and wait and hope. Because when you tell your clients, do you know what? I've got spaces for 3 new people right now, or whatever that number looks like. And I would love to work with somebody just like you, like you're such a great client. They will probably know somebody, but they may not have known you had a space. They may have no idea you're looking for new clients, and make it easy for them. How do you want people to be referred? Do you want them to say, do you want like an intro? Do you want somebody to share your business card? Do you want them to share a link to your socials? Do you have a little pre-prepared slide deck or message you could give one of your clients to pass on to a friend? How do you make it easy for that person, for the client to refer you, but also for the person, their friend who's like, oh yeah, maybe I'll use your services. How do you make it easy for them to take the next step? Okay. So strategic partnerships, including word of mouth referrals, really potent. And then there's other people that have your audience that you can join forces with to get in front of their clients and serve them and help them. And that will always come back to you. And then you've got vet referrals and you've got expert status. Now, if you aren't establishing authority, and there's so many ways that you can do that, if you haven't got strong links with your local veterinary partners in your area, it is going to be harder. And this is where your business may be really, your client attraction, sorry, may be really strong on word of mouth, but wouldn't it feel nice if you had those other pillars in place, those other channels that clients could come through, so that if you do see a quiet patch coming up, you know what to do, and you're not dependent on somebody else remembering. You're not dependent on somebody seeing their friend and their friend saying, oh yes, I'm a bit worried about Bluebell's back or whatever. You're actually proactively marking your business. You're in the driving seat, and that is where you need to be. Otherwise, you don't have a business. You have a hobby with a website. And if you're a regular podcast listener, I know that you are pushing your business forward. I know that you are listening to this podcast to evolve yourself and your business forward, to step into that CEO role and identity. And I tell you what, if you're running and growing a successful company, you're not in the energy of waiting. You're not in the fingers crossed, hope for the best. You're not into luck. You're not into hope. You're into it's going to happen. And you're into testing and trying and tweaking and mastering your marketing and your client attraction so that you have control. Because whether you want 5 new clients, whether you want 55 new clients, there's no right or wrong answer here, but you need to master client attraction. And yeah, referrals will always be a really amazing, what a great win. There's nothing nicer for the person that gets referred, but there's nothing nicer than for you from one of your clients that's been singing your praises. That's an amazing feeling, but that is not on its own, is not going to grow your business, and it is not going to give you that sanity as a business owner, which is where predictable income does. If you know what is coming in this month, what is coming in 3 months' time, if you can forecast, if you can predict, you can breathe. It really, really helps if you know what your business is likely to look like, not just next week, but in 6 weeks' time, in 3 months' time. Yeah, it may not always be an exact science, but if you are in control, you of your client attraction, you can get those numbers back to where they need to be. So, if referrals disappeared tomorrow, I'm going to ask you this question again. Would your business survive? And it may be for some of you, you have listened to this and thought, do you know what? I'm not sure it would. Like, it's a little bit rocky. You may have listened to this podcast and thought, oh my gosh, wow, like I need to really master those 4 pillars of client attraction. Well, if that is you, then we'd love to see you on our next masterclass. So my next client attraction masterclass that I'm running on the 14th of July, 1 p.m. UK time, which is 8 a.m. Eastern. It's all about how to attract your next 10 clients in the next 30 days. I am going to break down that client attraction formula. I'm going to be giving you some social media templates, some ideas to use. We're going to make it all super easy for you to go and welcome your next 10 clients. So if that sounds like a room that you need to be in, register at the link below. If you can't make it live, I appreciate if you're West Coast, it is quite early, but hey, you're welcome to join in pajamas with a coffee. That does happen. That's not a problem. But if you are registered, you'll automatically get the replay sent out. As with any training, it is always best to join live. You will literally be able to pick my brains, ask me anything after the masterclass, and you won't get that opportunity if you are on the replay. So if you can schedule things to join us live, that would be amazing. If you can't, the replay will be there for a few days to support you to catch up. So the link is in the show notes. I'll see you on our client attraction masterclass. And please do something today that means you are not in the energy of waiting and hoping and fingers crossed for business growth. Get back in the driving seat, get back on the horse, literally. And I look forward to seeing you at that masterclass and on the next episode. Bye for now.